Rare coins, where ordinary change hides extraordinary value.
You're an American watching this. Your 1943 1 cent could be worth over $20,000 at auction. And one rare version has sold for far more than that. Support our effort. Subscribe, like, and share so we can keep uncovering America's most valuable hidden coins. The 1943 1 cent is one of the most famous coins in U.S. history. At first glance, it doesn't even look like a normal penny. Instead of the familiar copper color, it appears silver gray. That's because in 1943, during World War II, copper was needed for ammunition and military equipment. So the U.S. Mint switched to zinc-coated steel to conserve critical wartime metals. The design itself remained the same as the long-running Lincoln wheat penny. On the obverse, you'll see the profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with Liberty on the left and the date 1943 on the right. On the reverse are the familiar wheat stalks, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. More than 1 billion steel cents were produced across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Because of that enormous mintage, most 1943 steel cents are common in circulated condition and worth modest amounts. But condition and composition are everything with this coin. The zinc coating on these steel cents was thin, and many examples quickly developed rust spots or dark staining. Coins that survived in bright original condition without corrosion are far scarcer than raw mintage numbers suggest. High-grade examples with full luster and minimal contact marks can bring impressive premiums, especially in certified gem mint state grades. But the real legend lies in the error coins. A tiny number of 1943 cents were accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets from 1942. These copper 1943 cents are among the most famous and valuable errors in American numismatics. Because they were never supposed to exist, they instantly became treasures once discovered. Authentic examples have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, with some reaching into 7 figures depending on condition and mint mark. There are also 1943D and 1943S bronze errors, each extremely rare and heavily scrutinized by collectors. If you ever find a 1943 penny that looks copper instead of steel, do not clean it. Have it authenticated immediately by a reputable grading service. For the standard steel version, check the mint mark below the date. No mint mark means Philadelphia. A small D indicates Denver, and S stands for San Francisco. Strong strike details in Lincoln's hair and sharp wheat lines on the reverse add to desirability. You can also test your coin with a magnet. Genuine steel cents will stick to a magnet. Bronze error coins will not. However, beware of altered coins. Some people copperplate steel cents to mimic the rare version. Professional authentication is essential for any unusual example. The 1943 1 cent tells the story of America at war, adapting its coinage to support the national effort. While most are affordable collectibles, the rare bronze errors and pristine high-grade steel examples prove that even a humble penny from 1943 can become one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. And if yours happens to be one of the rare survivors in extraordinary condition, it could be worth far more than 1 cent. If you're an American watching this, your 1970 half dollar could be worth over $18,000 at auction, and most people don't even realize this coin was never released into circulation. Support our effort, subscribe, like, and share so we can continue uncovering hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. The 1970 half-dollar is one of the most important modern issues in the Kennedy half-dollar collection. Featuring the familiar portrait of John F. Kennedy on the obverse and the presidential seal on the reverse, it looks almost identical to other coins from the late 1960s. But what makes this year special is not the design. It's the story behind how it was distributed. There were no 1970 half-dollars struck for circulation in Philadelphia. In fact, the only business strike coins were produced at the Denver Mint, carrying a small D mint mark on the reverse near the eagle's tail feathers. And here's the key detail: they were never released into everyday pocket change. Instead, the 1970 D half-dollar was sold exclusively in U.S. Mint uncirculated coin sets. That limited release instantly reduced how many people encountered the coin. With a mintage of just over 2.1 million pieces, it has one of the lowest production totals of the entire regular issue Kennedy series. Compared to earlier years that saw mintages in the tens or even hundreds of millions, this number is remarkably small. Another crucial factor is composition. From 1965 through 1970, Kennedy half-dollars were struck in 40% silver due to rising silver prices. By 1971, the Mint eliminated silver entirely from regular half-dollar production, switching to copper-nickel clad. That makes the 1970 D the final business strike silver half-dollar ever issued. Each coin contains approximately 0.1479 troy ounces of pure silver, giving it intrinsic value beyond face. Because these coins were packaged in mint sets, many survived in uncirculated condition. However, that does not mean high-grade examples are common. Most pieces show contact marks from storage, soft strike details in Kennedy's hair above the ear, and weakness in the eagle's breast feathers. Truly sharp, mark-free examples with blazing original luster are difficult to locate. In average uncirculated grades, a 1970 D may sell modestly above its silver value. But in certified MS-66 or MS-67 condition, values increase dramatically. Registry-quality coins with exceptional strike and eye appeal have achieved auction prices in the five-figure range when competition is strong and population reports show very few at the top grade. If you find a 1970 half-dollar, turn it over and check carefully for the D Mint mark. Without it, the coin is not a regular business strike from this year. If it is a Denver issue and appears sharply detailed with clean fields and strong luster, it may be worth professional grading. Never clean the coin. Cleaning can leave hairline scratches and permanently damage the surface, destroying collector value. Original condition is everything in today's market. The 1970 D half-dollar marks the end of silver in regular Kennedy production and represents a quiet but historic turning point in American coinage. In the right condition, that understated silver coin could be worth far more than 50 cents. It could be worth thousands.